time everybody must join hands together to work for the whole country.
Federal government dismisses speculation of planned increase in prices of petroleum products.
You expect that they will now pay, haven't committed their funds long before today.
Furore over personal travel allowance for pilgrims, CBN and National Hajj Commission explain. Plus, budget pardon saga, presidency exonerated. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I am Isaac Nkuma. The governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, has spoken of the need for Nigerians to bury their differences, unite and exhibit high sense of patriotism in supporting the Buhari administration and addressing Nigeria's socio-economic and security challenges. The governor made the request while speaking to State House correspondents after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari.
The president is the father of the whole country. We're all running one project. I keep saying so, and our project is just one project. That's Project Nigeria. So if we're running Project Nigeria, all hands must be on deck to move the country to the level that we all envisage and we all dream of. I think that's the essence of the whole thing. And I keep letting everybody know that at this point is a time everybody must join hands together to work for the whole country.
State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Dr. Mekanti Baru, who met the president, also described as baseless and unfounded speculations on the planned increase in the prices of petroleum products.
Directed to increase fuel price. Even the other price was based on recommendation from the regulatory body, that's PPPRA, and I'm not aware that they are planning to do any increase. You know, there are several factors that necessitated that, especially the issue of exchange rate that has moved, and we don't expect any serious changes. So far, the request for forex for importation of especially gasoline, as petroleum metal spirit, or popularly called petrol, has been met. So, and our own supply situation is robust. We are meeting the market demand. We have over 1.4 billion liters of petrol in the ground, so I don't see any basis.
President Muhammadu Buhari has stated the resolve of the federal government to collaborate effectively with Nigeria's dairy giant, Friesland Campina, towards making dairy farming in Nigeria a truly paying business for enhanced economic development. At an interactive session with the management of the company, the president specifically made a case for eliminating the culture of waste fostered in Nigeria due to poor methods of dairy products preservation. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Armed with 145 years of global dairy expertise, the management of Friesland Campina, led by Roloff Justin, discussed extensively with President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, on the challenges and prospects of dairy farming in Nigeria. This is in furtherance of the commitment by the federal government to diversify the nation's economy through agriculture. President Muhammadu Buhari expressed worry over the losses continuously suffered by dairy farmers in Nigeria due to poor means of preserving and processing their products, and solicited the support of Friesland Campina through effective dairy development program.
The president told us that he is very much committed in order to set up in dairy farming in Nigeria. He's looking for help in order to see how we could accelerate that, because he's very much concerned about the fact that milk is an important source in order to combat malnutrition. That should not be dependent on import only.
Both the chief executive officer of the company and its managing director in Nigeria described their interaction with President Muhammadu Buhari as reassuring and promised effective collaboration and cooperation with the government towards bringing the goodness of dairy to Nigeria and Nigerians.
What struck me was that we had a very interesting interaction. So a lot of questions were being asked. So personal interaction of the honourable ministers and the president himself. in order to see how we could help, let's say, a dairy development program in Nigeria. Basically, it was about a commitment in order to see how we jointly could, unite and find a way in order to deal with the challenges here in Nigeria from a dairy farming perspective.
We've assured the President of our commitment. We've assured the President of our resources, not just money in terms of investments, but time, people. We have signed recently an agreement where we have a farmer-to-farmer approach. So we bring our Dutch member farmers across to Nigeria to actually train and bring some transfer of best practice into Nigeria. And there are many other initiatives in the area of crossbreeding, in the area of animal feed, etc., that we are working with various partners to bring our 145 years of global dairy expertise into Nigeria.
The Minister of Agriculture, Chief Audu Ogbe, said herdsmen in Nigeria will soon be organized into ranches with special grasses and water for better yield, as well as provided special flasks that can preserve raw milk for up to 6 hours. Rated as one of the top 5 dairy companies in the world, Friesland Campina, with operating offices in 28 countries, makes an annual revenue of over 11 billion euros. The company, which began its business in Nigeria in 1973, last year announced an annual turnover of 120.7 billion naira. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government says various programs and initiatives are being developed towards motivating the nation's farming families to produce enough food for Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while receiving the outgoing Vietnamese ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Hoang Ngoc Ho. Here again is State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
President Muhammadu Buhari said the premium importance accorded agriculture by his administration is primarily aimed at achieving food sufficiency, economic revival, and job creation. To this end, he said Nigeria will work closely with other countries to reorient the citizens towards active involvement in the sector. The president expressed optimism that the impressive agricultural development strides achieved by countries such as Vietnam will be replicated in Nigeria. He congratulated the Socialist Republic of Vietnam for choosing the correct priorities that led the country to feed itself and other parts of the world. Ambassador Hoang Ngoc Ho of Vietnam expressed satisfaction with the growth in relations between his country and Nigeria, especially the cooperation with several Nigerian states in the area of agriculture now producing excellent results. Vietnam, he said, is ready to play a critical role in the economic diversification projects and programs of the Buhari administration. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has restated the federal government's determination in building a virile and sustainable economy. The Vice President stated this in a message to a special town hall meeting organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture in collaboration with the Alumni Association of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. Anthony Forsen reports.
Since the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture flagged off its town hall meeting series in April, it has continued to elicit a high degree of interest, with Nigerians showing support for the forum. The latest is this special edition in collaboration with the Alumni Association of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who was represented by the economic advisor to the president, Adeyemi Dikpeolu, said the federal government will leave no stone unturned in growing the nation's economy.
Accordingly, while the government works with dedication to bring about desired change, we welcome insights, proposals, and suggestions on policy initiatives to enhance the delivery of government priorities.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, then led the way for the ministers.
The task of nation building is for all Nigerians. Government alone cannot do it.
Explaining the state of the economy and the federal government's policy direction, Udoma, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Kemi Adeosun, Minister of Finance, and Babatunde Fashola of Power, Works and Housing put the matters straight.
We got our projections right in terms of the price for crude oil. We projected $38, which at the time some people thought was a little ambitious, but from all the indications we had, we thought it was a reasonable assumption to make. and we have achieved that.
Nigeria is rebuilding now out of one of the worst periods economically that we've ever been through. And what we need is the cooperation of everybody, the understanding of the real issues of why we are where we are.
Because we go from an average of 4 trillion, which was the average budget size in this country for almost half a decade, when we were earning $100 per barrel of oil a day. We were budgeting averagely 4 trillion. We're going now from there to a budget of 6 trillion when we are earning less than that, significantly less than that. It's ambitious.
Taking a cursory look at the nation's health sector, the minister played up current efforts being made by government.
We've also launched a program called Better Health for All Nigerians, which is actually a new initiative where we want to take care of poor people. We want to offer free surgery to poor people, and we are using the 46 health facilities across the country to offer free surgery to poor Nigerians. The only qualification is that they must be poor or they have no job.
With prospects of a bright future for agriculture, Audogbe spoke with passion.
In spite of the cynicism of some people who don't believe what we're saying, it's a target we will achieve. Youth and women. How do we get young people to take an interest in agric? We are getting old, we are going, they are coming. If they don't get in, who will feed them? And the young people are not going to come looking for a hoe and cutlass. They need machines. They're going to be more scientific. So we're working on that.
Ministers of Environment, Solid Minerals and Foreign Affairs were next in line.
Business as usual hasn't gone away. In fact, it's fighting us back very, very hard. For everything that we say is important in an emergency, the system says, no, I have 30 years to go, you only have 4 or maybe even 3. So the system is fighting back in every constituency, whether it is the federal, the state, or the local government. And that takes time to change. And I believe that there is a critical mass within our institutions that we can help work together.
We have regained Ajaokuta from long years of legal wranglings. And that now offers us the opportunity to put it out there for those who have the financial capability, who have the technical capacity, who have the track record to help us complete Ajaokuta.
We have over 10 million Nigerians in the diaspora, and they're investing back in the country over 20 billion dollars. So we have to also look for a way of institutionalizing that cooperation.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, and the president of ANI, General Lawrence Onoja, said ANI is poised to contribute to nation building.
We urge that both the government and the governments must come with clean hands, as Allah has enjoined all of us that after hardship, there will always be ease for those who persevere. We commend the federal government for its commitment to combat the menace of insurgency in the Northeast. Here we have seen a change from wholesome insecurity to relative peace.
ANI is inspired by the renewed activism in government by President Muhammad Buhari's administration to link budget outcomes with target plans.
The one-day policy engagement is ANI's way of contributing towards positive governance in Nigeria. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has cleared the air over the personal travel allowance agreement for pilgrims, which has sparked an outrage in the past week. Addressing the issue, Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said it was not a concession as erroneously painted but a fulfillment of a long-standing agreement reached between the Apex Bank and the Religious Pilgrims Commission. Leah Katung-Babatunde brings us up to speed on this development.
Over the years, both the National Hajj Commission and the Christian Pilgrims Commission have had to meet with the Central Bank of Nigeria to fashion out the appropriate ways to deal with personal travel allowance PTA for intending pilgrims way ahead of time. And this time, This circular became the source of an outrage, particularly over a portion that states the CBN was given a concession of 197 naira to a dollar for pilgrims after it had closed the official window and allowed the naira to float freely. Governor of the Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, in clarifying this issue at hand, said it became imperative to set the record straight and the agreement was not reached with only one religion.
It's a contract that had been agreed, and you will agree with me, if you were in the same shoes as the pilgrims, you will not be happy that, and I will consider that as inappropriate, that you expect that they will now pay, haven't committed their funds long before today.
The Central Bank said it will be inappropriate to return to the pilgrims who had committed their funds for this purpose long time ago for an upward review to tally with recent foreign exchange rates when the agreement reached were done with the now contentious amount. In Abuja, Leah Kachung Babatunde, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has denied allegations that the federal government is giving concession to this year's intending Muslim pilgrims to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Chairman of the commission, Abdullahi Mohammed, made the clarification while addressing journalists in his office. Saliu Abdullahi has the report.
As this year's Hajj activities gather momentum with the commencement of airlift of intending Muslim pilgrims to Saudi Arabia, the payment of personal travel allowance of 197 naira to a dollar to the pilgrims has been generating comments from the public domain. Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Abdullahi Mohammed, said the pilgrims had committed their funds to the Central Bank of Nigeria since March this year as part of measures to take off the financial burden and grant concession to the pilgrims based on the prevailing exchange rate at that time.
If you allow people to go and source any amount they so wish, and carry it out of the country in the name of Hajj, you are encouraging money laundering. The chances of pilgrims getting fake currency and taking it outside the country will be there. And that will bring security and diplomatic issue between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia.
He advised the public not to politicize the issue of concession, which he said has for long existed between the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Pilgrims Board. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Labour Minister Chris Ngige says justice will be done to petitions over sacking of bank workers. Ngige stated this in Abuja at a meeting with unions and the banking and finance sector. Labour correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
Termination of appointments without the application of relevant labour laws, casualization and non-remittance of dues are some of the petitions brought by the National Union of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions Employees, NUBIFE, and the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions, ASBIFI, against bank owners.
Just wake up and you see that a bank has thrown a lot of our members into the labor market.
We have the issues of microfinance banks, which in entirety they refuse unionization.
The Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, who had appealed to the unions not to picket the banks since May this year until such an intervention, said it is criminal to take away money from workers by banks under the guise of pension or union dues without remitting them.
We have cases of those who have been laid off without proper redundancy discussions.
An enlarged discussion between the unions, the banks and the government is expected to be held after the meeting with the bankers. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly, Senator Itai Enang, has exonerated the presidency from the ongoing 2016 alleged budget pardon. Senator Enang gave the clarification shortly after a 3-hour closed-door meeting with the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC. He said he was invited to give explanation and answer questions on issues raised concerning the 2016 appropriation bill.
To acknowledge no padding of the budget, and that the budget as assented to Mr. President is the budget as passed by the National Assembly. when a budget is presented before the legislature is to consider the budget and pass as they think fit. So what the legislature has passed becomes the appropriation upon assent, and that is the budget being executed.
In the meantime, financial and legal experts have called on the federal government to remove all legal impediments that stall the widening of financial inclusion for low-level businesses in Nigeria. This call came at a roundtable organized by the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies in Abuja. Femi Okeowo reports.
Traders like this abound in Nigeria. So recent World Bank statistics have it that 39% of such traders in Nigeria have no access whatsoever to any kind of funding. The idea behind financial inclusion, therefore, is to see how government can bring such traders on board and empower them financially. But first, are there any legal or legislative obstacles that impede government's intentions? Legal experts who came together at the round table say this must first be cleared in the interest of Nigeria's economic productivity.
There are so many regulators, so many supervisors. There's the need for strategic partnership.
What we want to do with this roundtable, apart from awakening consciousness, is also to interrogate the legal framework.
The central bank and SMEDAN, who are at the center of government's financial inclusion policy, both agreed that the nets should be widened.
The financial services should take diversity into cognizance, and it should be made to suit, made for purpose.
We are looking beyond just accessing finance in form of loan. We are looking at the ability to be able to make payments.
Resolutions from the roundtable are expected to be forwarded to relevant government agencies for action. Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Just a reminder that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device as the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Up ahead, court reserves judgment in Abia State governorship tussle. Details after the break.
My sweetheart! I carry my private jet go airport and they tell me say I never fit take up. That's a problem. Baby, don't rush, relax and talk to me. Sweetheart, me bang that thing. Don't tell about I get. Madam, baby, cut.
Call every time. Tell me, you dey thief my money, abi?
No. Chief calling officer. Now wait till you don't do this time.
The boy don't dey thief my money. See how he burn my pot.
Nah, just give me plenty credit. He don't lie. Airtel Smart Connect. Every time when you broke 100 naira, they must dash you 500 naira on top. 250 naira to make call. The other 250 naira will give you 50 megabytes of data. Madam, make I tell you one secret why my credit not a big finish. I always recharge before the time where that one supposed end. Madam, this one no be jara, now over jara.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Get ready to move on up with EcoBank. Easy access to your account wherever you are in the world. More ATMs across Africa than any other bank, so there's always one closer to you. The freedom to pay with a card instead of cash. To bank with your mobile anytime, anywhere. Or send money thousands of miles in a flash. Plus, smart ways to save and invest so your children can move on up too. And trust EcoBank to help with the things that matter most. Visit us online today and move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Chief, I agree. Every family must send a representative for vigilante.
Instrumental Sergeant, we are finished.
Chief, now we go take escape now.
No way to escape. The problem is how you go fit dodge the surround of the flood water.
Line sergeant on a flood water.
Chief, wallahi, flood don't finish up everything by my house, wallahi.
Ayua, a sticker does not shook a man into twice.
in one eyes. The then people NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency, had repeated warning upon on top of warning. Never you build a house upon on top of track road of flood to securize your life and property. Avoid the true way of dirty in gutter and waterways to avoid blockage. Join hands today in the clear of dirty in gutters and drainages. If you are living in a house in waterway, once it's a rainy season, pack out to upland to securize your life. A stick in hand, a service number.
This message is from National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and Presidential Committee on Flood and Rehabilitation.
My father said opportunity knocks every minute. He used to say to me that even the rising sun is an opportunity. A man must give each day everything. I live by those words. Just 1 minute of one day can change everything. Every day he stepped out with the belief that today might just be that day.
At FCMB, we believe every day is a new opportunity. Let's help you step forward and take it. FCMB, my bank and I.
Must begin to improve people's daily lives. That is the democracy dividend Nigerians have waited for. But no one should expect that all the damage done over a generation can be undone in a year. Real change demands perseverance and patience. It demands openness to honorable compromise and cooperation. It demands support on a constant basis from the people of Nigeria and from your friends abroad. That does not mean being patient with corruption or injustice, but to give up hope because change comes slowly would only be to hand a victory to those who do not want to change at all. Remember something we Americans have learned in over 224 years of experience with democracy. It is always and everywhere a work in progress.
If you work hard and sow, you deserve a good harvest. That's only fair. If you study hard, you deserve good grades. That's only fair. If you train hard, you deserve to win the prize. That's only fair. If you work hard as an employee, you should have something to show for it. That's only fair. At Premium Pension, we understand it's what you put in that guarantees a secure future. Talk to us today about your pension plan. Premium Pension. The future starts now.
It's truck month at Ford and we've got a Ranger just for you, Vincent. Here's the Workhorse 2.5 petrol single cab with free Ford Protect, a 4-year 120,000-kilometer service plan. Or the 2.5 petrol-based double cab with 800mm water wading capability, available in manual transmission and with free Ford Protect. So while stocks last, visit Kostaris Motors today. Because, wait for it, thanks Vincent, we've got a tough Ford Ranger just for you.
Thanks for staying with us. President Muhammadu Buhari has paid tribute to the pioneer Director General of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS Kuru, Major General Timothy Babatunde Ogundeko, describing him as a pace-setter in strategic leadership training. As the remains of the general would be laid to rest this weekend, the president believes that he will be long remembered for his role as an educationist and public administrator who contributed immensely to the security and socio-political environment of Nigeria. President Buhari affirms that with his tireless efforts and foresight, General Ogundeko transformed the Nigerian Army Education Corps for the benefit of the service and the nation, adding that his legendary role in the establishment of command secondary schools is well appreciated. while extending heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased, as well as the government and people of Ogun State. President Buhari prayed God to grant his soul eternal rest. The Court of Appeal has reserved for judgment the appeal of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu against his removal as governor of Abia State. This follows the adoption of arguments by counsel to the appellant, Okezie Ikpeazu, and counsel to the respondent, Dr. Godwin Oga, who won at the Federal High Court. The date for the judgment will be communicated to all the parties. Education Minister Adamu has presented a reform initiative that will achieve the goal of improving quality in basic and secondary education to make expansion go hand in hand with progress towards better learning. Franca Uzoma Olua reports that the dissemination of the National Quality Assurance Handbook provides answer to numerous challenges affecting the quality of education in Nigeria.
Quality assurance in education covers such areas as improving quality of teachers, provision of textbooks and other instructional materials, teaching and learning processes, as well as governance. It represents a radical change in thinking from the former practice of school inspection to a monitoring and evaluation process, especially with a working handbook as a guide to achieve education quality service.
The fact that quality education ranks number 4 on the list of sustainable development goals and the present government's focus on quality education all attest to the need for this handbook.
The handbook was reviewed by relevant education parastatals and international development partners.
Educational institution with a suitable academic environment, synergizing world-class human capital and innovation for imparting knowledge.
The 18th Board of Trustees meeting has confirmed the appointment of Professor Tahir Mamman as the new Vice Chancellor for a first term of 5 years. We also made the appointment of an acting Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics in the person of Professor Umo, former Executive Director at the NDIC. The board also approved the third convocation ceremony to hold on the 8th of October 2016.
The Board of Trustees of Bayes University also announced giant strides in getting accreditation of the National Universities Commission for Postgraduate Studies in Abuja. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
And moving on to other matters now, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Garba Abari, and his Nigerian Television Authority counterpart, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, have agreed to collaborate more towards the actualization of a changed Nigeria. The agreement was reached when the DGNOA paid a courtesy visit to the corporate headquarters of the Nigerian Television Authority. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has details.
There is a nexus between the Nigerian Television Authority and the National Orientation Agency, which is the promotion of patriotism, communicating government's policies and programs, as well as providing excellent television services worldwide to project the true African perspective. This collaboration is being further strengthened between the two information disseminators.
You don't simply advocate for a new society unless you are able to churn out the information that will make the people really aware and they get themselves psychologically, mentally, and physically prepared for a new society.
We also can sit together and think out programs that will emphasize belief in this country and belief in the concept of change.
Similarly, the Executive Director News, Shola Atere, also on behalf of the Director General NTA, received in audience members of the Center for Peace and Environmental Justice, a non-governmental organization.
By the University of Lagos in memory of its former Vice Chancellor, Emeritus Professor Jacob Festus Ade Ajayi in Lagos. Musa Toliat has details.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo said, in view of the fact that corruption has devastating effects on the economy and poses a great danger to human existence, there is need to review the punishment prescribed for corrupt activities in Nigeria and across the African continent. He emphasized that the anti-corruption war in the country can only be sustained when everyone keys into the project through self-restraint and discipline.
The corruption of a few has cost thousands of lives and billions of dollars, destinies lost and futures destroyed. But aside from fighting corruption and misgovernance, by the imposition of punishment and the seizure of proceeds of corruption, clearly there are important issues of values that we must emphasize.
Guest speaker Professor Hilary Beckles of the University of West Indies spoke on the topic History and Pan-African Nation. He lauded the efforts by various Pan-Africanists who stood against slave trade in the continent. Professor Beckles said that African leaders must speak with one voice and demand for reparatory justice in line with ideals the founding fathers of the continent fought and died for.
The historians and scholars of Africa do not pay enough attention to the African experience outside of Africa.
Friends and colleagues of the former Vice-Chancellor of University of Lagos, late Professor Festus Ade Ajayi, took turn to eulogize the man referred to as the father of modern Unilag. Special rendition of the anthem of Igbobi College, led by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, heralded the memorial lecture. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
This first batch of Muslim pilgrims to Saudi Arabia for the 2016 Hajj has been lifted from the Lagos zone. Ken Egbeluge reports that the pilgrims were airlifted by an indigenous airline from the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Ikeja, Lagos.
The 517 pilgrims from Osun and Ogun State from the southwest are the first batch of more than 5,000 to be airlifted from the Lagos zone. The Commissioner Southwest of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, who witnessed the airlift, said all arrangements concerning this year's Hajj have been concluded to be hitch-free.
For the first time, almost all Nigerian pilgrims will be landing in Medina, which, unlike the other previous where you land in Jeddah, when you land in Jeddah, you have to travel for another 6-7 hours before you get to Medina.
He urged pilgrims to stay away from acts that are capable of tarnishing the image of the country.
One new thing that we have introduced this year, that National Hajj Commission has introduced, that what we call wristband, is like electronic tracking. You'll be able to track all our pilgrims. That wherever any pilgrim is, the track will be able to say he is there.
To be good ambassadors. Let them feel fulfilled to do the righteous thing and make sure that they make this country proud and pray for the country.
Some of the pilgrims spoke on the significance of the program.
Whoever is blessed by the Almighty Allah should embark on. Whoever is rich in Islam must go to Hajj as one of the pillars of Islam.
I'm working for it since, but I'm thank God because I'm come across with it.
A total of 80,000 pilgrims from Nigeria are expected to participate in 2016 Hajj in Lagos. Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
We will take a short break now. Network news will continue in a moment. Stay with us.
A new Dettol multi-surface cleaner for a healthy home. Some cleaners don't kill germs, others kill germs but don't clean properly. New Dettol multi-surface cleaner gives you 10 times better germ kill, 10 times better cleaning, and all-day freshness for a healthy home.
Germs, oil and dirt cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce blemishes. New Dettol Even Tone.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, wishes to invite top officials of state and local government pension commissions and boards to the 5th
Gioni M5 Plus with a 50 that lets you play for up to 3 days on a single charge. Gioni M5 Plus, always in power.
Across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, the Future Assured Project, an initiative of Her Excellency, wife of the President Aisha Muhammad Buhari, is restoring hope to millions of Nigerian women and children.
Future assured, assuring the lives of women and children.
Declined, although there was a slight improvement in business activities. Experts say the purchasing power of the naira is still at stake unless government takes careful steps towards increasing productivity and output.
The problem of investors and the problem of the economy is that the naira keeps depreciating.
On the amount of expected rain, the ground moisture before and after commencement of rainy season.
What this app does is to provide that early warning opportunity to be able to take necessary remedial measures.
Is or due. They affirmed that contributory pension would not present the same challenges as the non-contributory pension at post since it was managed by private sector.
I'm assuring you that the presentation of the bond certificates will be a continuous exercise. As soon as we have money, we will set some aside to meet the
Monday's power failure. These and more on Global Tidbits with Chidema Ndubisi.
Zambia's president, while receiving former Nigerian president and African election observer Goodluck Jonathan, pledged to accept the outcome of Thursday's presidential and parliamentary
played out during his lifetime. Reverend Toti Ono of the Presbyterian Church of Nigeria, First Abuja Parish, stated this at a commendation service held in his honor at the National Christian Center, Abuja. Ifeanyi Zumba reports.
Appreciating friends for the sacrifices made with words of testimony, Reverend Toti, taking his text from the book of Isaiah, challenged Christians to continue to put their total hope and trust in God.
You have to see the Lord first. When you close your eyes in that, then it means your hope is in God. But if you are not sure, you're going to see God first, then your hope is not in Him. Bring your hope back. The blessings of God Almighty, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit shall continue to abide with them now.
Minister of Science and Technology, Obonnaya Ono, said late Ojomadu Ekwe was a hard-working Nigerian who left a lasting legacy for Nigerians and the youths to emulate.
So we want young Nigerians to know that we must go back and we believe in our country, we believe in ourselves.
More tributes from dignitaries.
He believed in education and fearlessly supported the African Institute of Mathematical Sciences.
An epitome of integrity, a patriot of outstanding character.
A good administrator who's in any sphere you never found him.
I miss him so much.
Late Ojomadu Ekwe died at the age of 71 in Abuja. Ifeanyi Zumba, NT News.
Now a quick look at the weather picture of Wednesday across the country.
Makurdi and Jalingo axis should watch out for intermittent rains in the morning. As for the southeast coast, light rains are probable. By afternoon, the extreme north is expected to be more active than it was in the morning with isolated thunderstorms. And in the central region, areas around Mina, Bida, parts of Abuja, Jos and Kaduna will